What's up, everybody, and welcome to Lee County, Florida. So I drove through Fort Myers today from one end to the other, and I noticed something kind of interesting about Fort Myers today while driving through. And it is that the only neighborhoods that are really being patrolled heavily are the Hispanic neighborhoods. So let's drive around the Hispanic part of Fort Myers and see exactly what's going on here. So this area of Fort Myers used to be the most packed part of the city, the Latino neighborhood off of Palm Beach. A lot of the restaurants have lost so many customers, and it's really sad, you know, after living in Fort Myers, to come back and see the condition that Fort Myers is in. There's homeless people everywhere. You know, it's sad because this was a really happening place right before that immigration law took place, and most cities in Florida really haven't taken all this that much serious. This is a bus stop here in Fort Myers. But what used to be a thriving neighborhood after SB 1718, it's lost so many customers, these businesses here, and it's really gone to crap. And here's the result: businesses empty, streets empty, and of course, you know, small businesses suffering. You know, with all the crime in Fort Myers and all the bad neighborhoods in Fort Myers, why is this the only neighborhood that seems to have an elaborate police presence? And I'll tell you why. It's because it's a Hispanic part of town, and the city of Fort Myers is kind of gone on an offensive against Hispanic neighborhoods. Neighborhoods that are complete open air drug markets. They're not focused on, you know, the real crime and problems that the city is facing. They're just focused on profiling the Hispanic part of town. Here's a car with rims, and I think Fort Myers and maybe Melbourne are the two cities in Florida that are still doing a lot of police profiling. And it's crazy because, you know, with all the problems that the city of Fort Myers has, you know, it seems like the priority these days is simply profiling the poor Hispanic neighborhoods. Park over here, a few kids playing soccer. They're playing soccer on the tennis court. Yeah. But it's crazy. It's like the last few times I've drove through Fort Myers, it's like you drive through all these neighborhoods that you know are bad, have a lot of problems, and the only neighborhood where you really see just incredible amounts of police presence are the Hispanic neighborhoods. It's like an all-out assault on Hispanic neighborhoods here in Fort Myers. Tire shop. This is where I used to get my wheels when I lived in Fort Myers here. Pretty good service at this little spot. But as we can see, guys, just off of Palm Beach Boulevard, there are several different scenes here, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Again, this isn't exactly the highest crime rate neighborhood in the city, but it is the most Hispanic part of the city, and the city of Fort Myers is actively trying to enforce a law that most cities in Florida are not enforcing at all. Now, I don't know if it's still happening, but back in the day, Fort Myers was infamous for extorting illegal immigrants. The police department here in Lee County, both Lee County and the city of Fort Myers, are infamous for extorting Hispanics. So it could be that the police officers, many times when they catch people that are illegal, or that they're transporting illegals to the new law in Florida, that simply they are, it's a good opportunity for an extortion. They can make a lot of money just pulling over Hispanics and demanding racket money. Could that be the case in Fort Myers? It's happened in the past. I'm not sure why it wouldn't be happening anymore, but the businesses are suffering. As we know, this entire neighborhood is minority. Lots of minorities in this area. And it seems like the businesses that used to be packed many years ago, well, these businesses today, food trucks, are suffering because the customers are simply afraid to go outside. And there goes the car from earlier. Not sure if it broke down or maybe the driver didn't have a valid driver's license. Who knows? Not sure. There's more taxis. So Fort Myers is really the only city in Florida that's taken this law by heart. All the other cities in Florida haven't had any changes since the implementation of this law, SB 1718. The city of Fort Myers has really been the only city in Lee County, Florida, that has really kind of crunched down on minority neighborhoods that I'm aware of. Why Fort Myers? Well, Fort Myers in this area of Tice has the largest Guatemalan community in the state of Florida. Perhaps that is the origin of the problem. But they're hardworking people. Somebody's got to cut the grass and somebody's got to install the roofing. So let's keep it moving, see what else we see in this neighborhood today. As you can see here, there's a lot of like little food trucks, and usually these little businesses would be packed during Saturday or Sunday. I mean, there would be lines. If you guys remember my videos from when I used to live in Fort Myers, the taxis are still going around, but it doesn't seem like here's a taxi there, there's one over there. So there's still a lot of taxi services going around. Here's one right here. They're still working. I just don't know if maybe perhaps they're charging an extortion fee on a particular drivers, or who knows. I mean, the reputation that Lee County has is to extort Hispanics whenever they get the opportunity. So I'm sure it's pretty obvious that all of these taxis are going to be running, you know, people that don't have a driver's license. So, but it's incredible how much police presence they're putting into this one particular neighborhood when there's so much crime all over Fort Myers. Here's another business here. There's still people here, but it's nothing like what it used to be. This used to be really packed out here. There's still some people out and about, but if you guys remember my videos from before, totally different atmosphere today than what it was in the past. There's still a lot of taxi services. This guy's got mangoes and elote. Sounds pretty cool. But across the street, it is empty. On that side over there, on a Saturday night, especially on a cool night like now, would usually be packed. There's just a few cars here and there. You can tell that these businesses are all suffering. And then there's like definitely homeless people living here inside of this building that is covered in graffiti. I wouldn't doubt it's gang related. And as you can see, there is gang related graffiti here. This is gang related graffiti here. So, yep, gang related graffiti. Gangs in city. So this city's really gone to crap, man. Really gone to crap. Gang graffiti everywhere. Here we have some more gang related graffiti. You can see 502 on the side of this building. 502 is the area code for Guatemala. traffic picks up. You don't need a CDL for that though.